After the Williams fight, Clay met World Boxing Association champ Ernie Terrell in the locker room. Clay tapped the 6-foot Terrell playfully, telling him, "You are not too big." Unsmiling, Terrell took off his jacket while newsmen shouted encouragement.
I am surrounded at the moment by two massive men. The gentleman to my left has just told me that he is the only man in the world that Muhammad Ali is afraid of. So the gentleman to my left has to be Ernie Terrell. To my right is the author of a great new poem. He is the heavyweight champion of the world. He pretends that he will have an easy time of it February 6th at the Houston Astrodome. You continue to be unafraid of this man.
Yeah, I'd like to say something right here. You know, Cassius Clay, yes.
Why do you want to say Cassius Clay when Howard Cosell and everybody is calling you Muhammad Ali? Now, why you got to be the one of all people whose color to keep saying Cassius Clay?
Howard Cosell is not the one who's going to fight you. I am.
You're making it really hard on yourself now.
Well,
why don't you keep the thing in the sport angle? Why don't you call me my name, man?
Well, what's your name? You told me your name was Cassius Clay a few years ago.
I never told you my name was Cassius Clay. My name is Muhammad Ali, and you will announce it right there in the center of that ring after the fight if you don't do it now.
For the benefit of this broadcast, him, all right?
You just acting just like an old Uncle Tom. Another Florida Patterson. I'm going to punish you.
Let me tell you something, man. You ain't got no...
Back off of me.
Don't call me no Uncle Tom.
That's what you are, Uncle Tom.
Why are you going to call me Uncle Tom?
You heard me. Just back off of me.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, as the two contestants prepare for battle right now...
Back off of me, man. Back off of me, man.
Another interview has been recorded for posterity as the two gentlemen continue to promote the fight. Perfect, that's it. Come on. Keep shooting.
Predict that Terrell will catch hell at the sound of the bell. He's going around saying that he's a championship fighter, but when he meets me, he'll fall 20 pounds lighter. He thinks that he's the real heavyweight champ, but after I'm finished, he'll just be a tramp. Now, I'm not saying this just to be funny, but I'm fighting Ernie because he needs the money.
I don't usually make predictions, but I see Clay with such limited ability till I'm predicting that I will knock him out.
Terrell steamed up their fight by pointedly refusing to use Muhammad Ali's new name. Once again, Ali reacted with fury.
Of all people, he had to say the name Cassius Clay. Of all people, one of my own kind, a so-called Negro, he's determined to continually call me Clay, knowing that that was a slave name, knowing that that's no longer my name. And he saw everyone else calling me that but him, so I call him Uncle Tom Negro, and I'm going to give you a good whipping, and immediately after I whip you, I'm going to hand you the microphone and make you announce me by my name.
Rick Weaver?
Yes.
This is Ernie Terrell, heavyweight champion of the world.
Well, ain't this a surprise? Ernie Terrell, the heavyweight champion of the world. What world, chump? You not no champion. You just a jive champion. I'm the champion. And you have a lot of nerve calling me on the phone, the real heavyweight champion, and telling me you are Ernie Terrell.
I didn't call you. I called Rick Weaver.
Well, I got a good whipping for you anyway. You just get ready. Now, you talk to him, Rick. I don't want to talk to this fella. What's on your mind, Ernie?
Oh, thank you, Rick.
Other than Mr. Ali.
Well, he's not on my mind. I'm giving a press conference tomorrow. You're invited.
You're having a press conference tomorrow?
Fritzel's restaurant, 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock?
Will you be there?
I'll be there.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Bye. Rick, I call that an insult, Rick. I'm on the telephone. I come all the way out of my way, come down to your station, and my enemy, Ernie Terrell, calls up. Well, I should walk off of this show now. And what nerve do he have calling me up and calling you and hollering about this is the world heavyweight champion with me on the show?
He must believe it. He must believe it.
That's ridiculous. Well, we'll see who's the champion. I'm trying to be humble and modest, and this fella stand me up.
Well, all right.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the match you have all been waiting for, the championship of all championships, to decide once and for all the championship of the world. Introducing first, your WBA champion, in this corner from Atlantic City, New Jersey, and Chicago, Illinois, weighing in at 212½ pounds, Ernie Terrell.
is self-evident.
From Louisville, Kentucky, now making his home in Houston, Texas, the heavyweight
So is the
champion
crowd
of the world
reaction for Ali.
at 212
Self-evident.
and 1/4
Another
pounds,
direction.
Muhammad Ali.
Now it becomes mixed. Boos and cheers.
Your
Boos
referee
for
for this
obvious
match,
reasons.
Your referee for this match will be Harry Kessler of St. Louis, Missouri, and New York City. Your two judges will be Jimmy Webb and Ernie Taylor, both of Houston, Texas.
Gentlemen, this is the big evening you've been waiting for.
Look at the
three
stare.
knockdowns in one round does not
And
determine
Terrell
the
is
fight.
giving it right
There
back
can be as
to
many
him.
knockdowns as is possible. We are enforcing the
This could be a
eight-count
long,
mandatory.
long night.
In the case of a knockdown, we must count 8 points. What's the holding? What's the grabbing? In the event of a slip, fall, or knockdown, you go back to the furthest corner and you stay there till I wave you back. You both understand that?
No low punches, right?
Keep your punches high. Shake hands now. Come out fighting.
Hold it. Wait a minute, brother.
Want you to watch the two things.
Here's the champion.
I'll watch
Wait a minute, I'll tell you what I asked.
And Harry Kessler. You win or lose a fight in the four corners of a ring. You win it with fists. The bell for round one. Ali surprises by opening strongly. Terrell has said he will take control of this fight from the outset. Now Ali is circling in the familiar movement. Terrell divides the ring by coming at him not in pursuit of the circle, but diagonal. As Terrell fights in close, he becomes the fighter that Angelo Dundee says he doesn't like. The old Terrell, not the one who trained from a distance, using strictly the left from a distance during the sparring sessions before tonight. It is the grappling, clutching octopus Terrell who makes a fighter look bad. We have 1 minute to go in the first round.
Both tied up.
That left is mostly slipped. 30 seconds of the first round to go. Two quick lefts, neither doing any damage. The second one completely slipped. We have now 10 seconds to go in the first round. Bell for the end of round one. Here's George Chavallo. How did you score the round, George, and why?
How would I give that a 10-9 round to Terrell? He forced the action and got in some pretty good body blows. He out-roughed the champion in close. But I think the champion has much more poise and moving in a smoother rhythm than Terrell. Terrell seems a little too tense. He's trying to follow the champion, but his arms seem a little tense, and he's not punching as quickly with the jab as I might have anticipated. The champion,
who scored around 10 points to 9 for Ernie.
For Ernie Terrell, yes.
And I might quickly state that we're going to be doing this throughout the fight. George will score this fight as he sees it, not as the official sees it, not as the referee sees it. He will score it unofficially, but with the practiced eye of his experience in boxing. We're getting ready for the bell for round 2. Most of the experts think that Ernie will lead in this fight for the first 7 or 8 rounds. And then tie it. Ali is pulling a little of the stuff that he pulled in the first fight against Liston in Miami Beach. That simple little paw. Where Ernie becomes the octopus when he has you against the ropes or in a corner. Thus far, George, Ali has not been able to penetrate Terrell, really, has he?
That's right, Howard. He's trying to, I think, embarrass him. He's trying to humiliate him. And I think he's trying to pick up his pace right now. Scoring a little more often right now.
Both holding, Harry Kessler said, as he broke them apart. Tried to prove he had a right there. He missed, but he showed he'd at least throw it. As far as Ernie's concerned, they've called him the one-arm bandit too long. However, I must say Ali is scoring more now with that left jab, wouldn't you, George?
That's right. He's throwing it more now and connecting more with it.
We have 40 seconds left in round 2. What Ali is looking for is a Terrell left and then the dropping so that he can cross with a right over it. The left's beginning to get through between the gloves. We have 5 seconds left of round 2. Ali's left, that is. There's the bell for round 2. Once again, the scoring of it is seen by George Chavallo.
Well, this round was completely the reverse of the first round as far as scoring goes, Howard. I give it a 10-9 to Muhammad Ali. I think he still moving in a smooth rhythm. He got his punches out better in the last half of the round than the first. He started to score with the left jab and tried a couple of 1-2s. But Terrell still is trying to be rough on the inside, and I think he's trying to wear down Muhammad Ali. But he's not too effective on the inside, although he tried to work his upcuts in well in the far corner. But his movements are scampery, and this is what I think will tire Ernie out. He seems to be a little too tense, whereas Ali is moving around still in a smooth rhythm and perfectly relaxed.
Terrell said he'd take control of this bout from the beginning. Do you see him doing that in any sense?
Well, he's only taking control by forcing the fight, but not really taking control of the punching. Clay handled himself very well that round.
Analysis by George Chavallo as we await the start of round 3. Does his best work, George.
That's why he seems to be very effective this part of the round on the inside.
That's the octopus. And nowhere in evidence up to this point is either the Ali shuffle or the double clutch shuffle, whatever that may be. He is really the aggressor, Terrell is, up to this point in this round, although he did no damage in that last series of attempted blows. Ernie's changed his whole strategy this round, George.
That's right. As a matter of fact, most people thought that Terrell was doing the holding. It's the champion who's doing the holding. And the champion's coming on now.
You know from first-hand experience, Terrell can make any fighter look bad.
Keeps that left hand sticking out there, but right now he's trying to be a rough fighter, and he's doing a pretty good job of it.
1 minute to go in this round 3. Ernie's left eye is getting red in the corner, George. Have you noticed?
That's right. It's got a little, looks like a slight abrasion on it.
That's because Ali's left is beginning to get through in between those gloves. And Ernie's been keeping up, in general, effectively. 30 seconds to go in round 3. I think Ali's getting a little annoyed, don't you, George?
That's right.
About at the end, there it is, the bell for round 3. George, you're scoring in that.
Well, I scored the same as I scored in the second round, Howard. I give the champion 10. I give Terrell 9.
Terrell started fast, as you saw it, but Ali overcame it.
That's right. He picked up the pace and started to put his punches together. Terrell started rough up the champion in the first part of the round, but later on, the champion moved on very well, got himself off the ropes, and put his punches together very well.
He's working on Ernie's eye, or has been, right now. There is, as you said, a slight abrasion, and the left eye is quite bloodshot.
That's right, it is. Terrell has got his hands up very well. He blocked a lot of the uppercuts and hooks, but the left jab has been getting through.
Doesn't seem to be any danger yet of a cut over that left eye, and yet he put something on it.
Yes, but the eye is swelling, Howard.
We're ready for the advent of round 4. You said he wouldn't go to the stomach, George.
You never know what can happen in a fight.
That's the Terrell we all know. From the bout against George in Canada, from the bout against Doug Jones. So many of the others he's won, 39 out of 43 in his career. Dancing out of trouble. What was Ernie's complaint there as you saw it, George?
I'm not sure. I think he said he got a thumb in the eye. His eyes
looked like he said the glove wasn't closed. Referee Kessler could deduct if he agreed with Terrell. Yes. Damaging Terrell's eye strongly now. 1 minute to go in round 4. It's amazing. Terrell came at him, and the champ slipped that last one beautifully. And so Ernie has him against the ropes and pounds to the back. 30 seconds to go in this round. Crowd gets excited. We have 10 seconds to go. Terrell remains unafraid, but he is not doing the damage that the hopeful crowd reaction would indicate. That's the bell for round 4. How do you score that one, George?
This one I scored even, Howard. Terrell out-roughed the champion. He got him with a good right hand in the far corner, hit him with a good left hook near the end of the round in this corner. But he was getting too much with the left hand, although he did force the action. So in that case, I give them both 10 points.
George Chuvalo, unofficially, between rounds, scoring each round and explaining why. By no means infallible. You may find later that the judges and the referee disagree with him, but scoring the fight as he sees it on the basis of his knowledge, his experience. George, I suspect that from here on in comes the key test for Terrell. Are you now putting the ice bag over that eye?
That's right. It's swelling up very rapidly.
And it's not going to be an easy matter for him to fight off the constant swelling of the eye and the gradual closing of it.
That's right. The champion's a pretty good spot picker.
There's the bell for round 5. Muhammad's brother, Rahman, might possibly be heard in the background, screaming, "Keep moving, Muhammad." Exhortation is hardly necessary. That's all Ali does. Just flashed in against that injured eye. Crowd isn't happy with what's happening now. And he shot that left and just missed. Kessler just told both fighters, stop that holding, both of you. not what you'd call an exciting round. Ernie got a right to the crown of the champ's head there, and the champ got two lefts right on that eye, George. Did you see that?
That's a beautiful left hand. He's starting to take over completely now in this round. He's right within punching room. He's not moving too far back. He's right in punching room.
.30 seconds to go in round 5. Not an easy thing for a man Kessler's age and size to break those two apart. We have 10 seconds to go in the round. The octopus against the shuffle, the end of round 5. George, score that one.
Well, I give this one also 10-9 to Muhammad Ali. He's really finding the spot now. He's got Terrell's eye really puffed up. It looks very bad for Ernie right now. The beautiful thing about Muhammad Ali in this particular round was that he was always in punching range. He wasn't moving too fast or too far out. He was always within punching range. Every time he threw the left jab, it seemed to find its mark. Terrell seemed to try to rough him up, but he couldn't seem to get to him. A funny thing about Ernie I've been noticing is that he's not fighting his usual type of fight in stance. He's facing the champion rather than giving him the side. Rather than try to use the long left hand, he's facing him, and I think this is proving to be an easier target for the champion.
It's interesting. And as the viewers were able to see a couple of seconds ago, the minute Ernie gets to the corner, they put the ice pack on the eye, which is not now being as effective as it was a couple of rounds ago. It's a tremendous swelling and welch under that left eye. The beginning of round 6. Ali's going after that eye like he went after Henry Cooper. Quick verbal note, incidentally, scores of great sports writers from all over the world at ringside, including 8 from Great Britain. The crowd manifesting its displeasure with the grappling we saw. That was an ear slip, not a blow, right, George?
He just tripped. The champion just tripped.
And strangely, in his sparring sessions during the past week, the champ slipped 3 times. Angie Dundee said it was because they were over-vacuuming the ring floor. We do want to welcome our good friends over in England up in the wee small hours of the morning to watch this bout. A good left by Terrell there. They know good boxing in Britain, and they appreciate it. You think Ernie is getting discouraged?
He's getting discouraged and a little befuddled, I think, Howard. You notice how high he's keeping his gloves. He doesn't seem to be able to have a real good defense with the jab.
As we have approximately 30 seconds to go in this round, I'm surprised Ali hasn't gone more to Terrell's stomach.
That's right, but he's not a body puncher anyway.
Never used to be, but started to do it in the Williams fight. We have 15 seconds to go in the round as the crowd starts to boo the lack of action. Should have been prepared for this. This is the way Ernie fights. He makes everybody look back. And that's the bell for the end of the round. How'd you score that one, George?
Well, I give this one pretty big to the champion. Terrell just didn't do much this round. He seemed to be befuddled most of the time. And most of the jabs that the champion threw hit Terrell. The eye is getting worse than ever now. It's really puffing up. The champion has still got his poise, and Terrell still looks a little tense and looked a little tired in that round.
Funny thing, the champ's face is still unmarked, and yet most of us felt this was the fight where in the early rounds he'd get marked up and quickly.
That's right, but Terrell hasn't been using that jab like most people thought he would.
He's not fighting at all the way he trained for this bout.
That's right. He was really pumping it in the gym, but as you'll notice, Howard, he's holding his left hand up very highly, and he's using it more as a defense rather than as an offensive weapon.
You know why Ali doesn't like to punch to the belly, George?
Well, I guess it leaves his chin all the more open.
Exactly so, and he doesn't want that face mussed up. Round 7. He's in bad trouble. Ali knows it. He's going after him.
He's cut over both eyes.
He's cut over both eyes is right. We are only a minute and 20 seconds into this round. And Terrell is in bad trouble. The left eye is almost totally shut. The right eye is now cut and swelling fast. Terrell's a game one. He's on rubbery legs now, George. Just holding the hands up in an attempt to guard. Seconds left in the round, and the blood is now streaming down Terrell's face as he comes back with an attempted flurry and lands a right to the cheek of Ali that Ali felt. However, Terrell's blood is now all over Ali's body, all over his chest. He's got courage. Terrell keeps coming at him. We have 15 seconds left of the round, and they'll go to work on those eyes of Terrell's as quickly as they can. That's the end of round 7. No intent, George, just 1 second to be dramatic here. But Terrell said, as long as I can stand, as long as I can see, I'll be throwing punches. Now look at it in slow motion. You see Ali moving in on him. Ripping with the Ali combination. As you're watching this in slow motion, they're doing everything they can. They're closing up the cut over the right eye. They've got the ice patch over the left eye of Terrell. And as you continue to watch in slow motion, as you see Ali pummel him, George, how'd you score the round?
Another big round for the champion, 10-8. He did everything to Terrell but knock him down. Terrell's face as he went to his corner was a crimson mask. and he did everything but fall down. He's showing a lot of heart.
Slow motion, I think, showed you vividly the trouble Terrell was in. Now the bell for round 8. And Ali goes right to the left to the face and lands 2 of them. Now he's working on the right eye. Round 8. This was the round Angelo Dundee told this reporter would be the final round of the fight. But he said the 6th round would end it in Germany against Mildenberger. And once again, you have to win it in the ring, not from the corner. Joe Louis has just joined us. Ernie got a glancing left against the champ then. Joe, your mic is now open. How bad do you think the thing is for Terrell at this moment?
Well, it looks bad. You know, watching the fight, watching Terrell fight, his best punch he not use a jab.
That's the point Chevalo made earlier. Not fighting the way he trained in the ring.
Yeah, that's right.
But look at his guts.
Oh, he got a lot of guts. He got a lot of guts. But Terrell knows to have a good left, and that's something he's not using.
One has to wonder why he changed his strategy.
That's right, Howard. He's been made to change strategy because he's going to come around the face. So he has to use his left hand as a defensive thing rather than a defensive weapon.
Exactly so. That's what Patterson did. Now he's hitting him again, much the way he did in the 7th round. Ali against Terrell. That's exactly, you'll remember what Patterson did to Johansson that June night, 1960, when he recaptured the heavyweight title. He nullified Johansson's right, and tonight Ali has nullified Terrell's left.
Clay is talking to Terrell.
He's asking what his name is.
Said he'd humiliate him. I hardly think it's necessary. Don't you agree, Joe?
I don't know about that.
We have 30 seconds to go.
I think Clay can do what he wants to do in the ring.
Just happened in the ring. It spoke for itself.
Wait, how you see what Clay asked him? Said, what's my name?
That was the big 3-word question that was answered last Saturday on television in advance by Ernie Terrell. He said his name is Cassius Clay. How'd you score that round, George Chevalo?
Another big round for Muhammad Ali, Howard. I give him a 10-8 round. He had things pretty well his own way that round. Terrell is just using a left hand defensively, not his offensive weapon, as I said before. And he can't do much damage when he's holding up to his face all night.
I must say that Terrell looks in bad shape.
Certainly does right now. The viewers are taking a good look at him in the corner. Sealing up the right eye again, using the ice pack on the left.
This probably the last round of the fight, too.
You think so, Joe?
This probably the last round.
Prediction by Joe Louis that round 9 will be the last round of the fight. Let's see. You remember it didn't happen that way in Germany, Joe. Don't you think if he was going to knock him out, he should go in after him more quickly, more strongly?
Well, you know, tell the truth. You know what I think now? I think Clay It's acting somewhat like in the Floyd Patterson fight. Remember when he knocked him down in the 6th round?
That's why I asked you the question. Do you think that he's deliberately doing that?
I think so.
You do? What do you think, George?
I think so. He's just letting him hang on. He's trying to humiliate him like he said he will.
These are matters of opinion only. Trust the viewers understand. Can see Ali is just using the left when he wants to and getting through now at left. Notice the gloves are no longer so close together, George.
That's right. He's opening up now. He's dropping his left hand a little bit too.
We have 1 minute to go in round 9. And I suspect, Joe, that your prediction will go by the wayside.
Well, we still don't take the 10-second time out, so I hope we can stop the fight.
Do you think the referee should at this point?
No, not right now.
No. The champion isn't doing any damage here. For whatever reason. We have only 30 seconds to go in round 9. That's the end of round 9. How do you score that one, George Chuvalo?
Well, this round's a little closer than the last one, only because the champion didn't care to throw as many. He seems to have Terrell pretty well at his mercy. So, Terrell still has his eyes puffed up, but Ali just isn't pressing things. Looks like he wants to go just a little bit further.
I'd like one quick question of Joe Louis before you go, Joe, and thank you for coming by. You are regaled as perhaps the greatest champion who ever lived.
Well,
Is Ali a great fighter?
No question about it. Tonight he's proven it.
Thank you, Joe Louis. We await the start of round 10 with, once again, it's become a redundant scene now. The challenger getting treatment over both eyes. Ali is now just taunting him with words right from the opening bell. A good left, surprisingly, by Ernie, although it landed high on the chest, shoulder area. Note that if Ali wants to move, he can do it very readily still, and he leaves Terrell virtually standing still, George.
That's very true.
low blows by Ernie, noticed at close hand by Harry Kessler. I doubt that there'll be any penalty. Good blow. Ernie's best blow of the night.
That's right, a very good left hook flush on the chin.
1 minute to go in the round. Strangely, we said that it was very possible that Ali was tormenting him. Ali doesn't look that fresh anymore, George.
That's right, he does look a little tired. That's why I'm taking a deep breath there.
30 seconds left in the round. Yeah, a couple of those blows by Ernie were low, but the crowd understands. He's a tired fighter who was bent over. No malice intended. It's the end of round 10. I know it's getting very, very repetitive, George, but how did you score that one?
Well, actually, I have a little surprise. I think this round was even because the champion chose not to do too much in this round. He got hit with a pretty good left hook in the first part of the round, but he did come back with a couple of good furries at the end. But Terrell did force it and hit him with a good left hook in the far corner and was pressing with the jab.
By way of recap, what's your total score at the end of 10?
Well, I have Muhammad Ali with 8 rounds, the winner, and he won 8 rounds. 1 round for Terrell and 1 even.
8, 1, and 1. You've got it overwhelming, then, for the champion up to this point.
In my book, the only way Terrell can win is by a knockout. Pretty well.
There you see Terrell's face. right that followed the left just missed, and the left didn't really get there either. It was in the 7th round that Ali did his damage to Terrell. Ernie's been fighting on nerve ever since. And yet Ernie keeps coming back. We now have a minute to go in the round.
That's right. Ernie is trying hard, but he has replaced the size, at least on his face, or marks the size of pecan nuts, over and above both eyes.
Let's go flat up there. One step back. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Did you hear Harry Kessler say thank you very much as he broke the fighters? 10 seconds to go. One almost gets the feeling it's the Green Bay Packers running out the clock. End of round 11. Your analysis, George, and your scoring.
Well, that was a 10-8 round this time, Howard for the champion. He seemed to have things pretty well his own way. Terrell started to force the action a little in the fight, but the champion hit him with pretty good combinations, usually the right uppercut and the left hook following. They both look a little tired right now, but the champion still seems a little fresher than the challenger.
One of your old favorites, one of everybody's old favorites, is approaching us at ringside. George, this is a boxing match, but the guy is a boxing fan, has been for a lot of years, knows the business. Joltin' Joe DiMaggio. He should be with us in just a couple of minutes, and we're going to bring him on, if only to say hello. Round 12 coming up. Being more aggressive as this round starts, it may be that he's going to try to finish it this time, George.
That's right. He's standing very flat-footed and throwing some good punches.
Oh, Terrell tried desperately to measure Ali with a right, but as you saw, couldn't bring it home. They're going to show you that desperate right that Ernie missed in slow motion between rounds. Ali is now pummeling Terrell. And just moving in next to us, for you general sports fans who are watching this bout, the guy who just walks with grace and walks with class. Joe DiMaggio has just joined us. The older he gets, the better looking he gets. Terrell's got courage, but little left. Wouldn't you say, Joe?
Yes, I'd have to say that myself. I think that Clay has still got plenty of left, you know. I think right now he'd like to finish him off, but he's not giving him much of an opening, as you can see, Howard.
You had the same problem with Bob Feller. We've got 30 seconds to go in this round.
Still, he must admire that man's courage up there, Howard.
He's come back round after round after round. We questioned before whether Ali was just tormenting him. Could have put him away earlier after the damage of the 7th round, Joe. Joe Lewis said he thought he could, and George Chuvalo said he thought he could. But now it doesn't appear that he can. We're approaching the end of this round, a matter of seconds.
It looks like the Clay is becoming the tire just a little bit, and he's liking the steam in that punch.
That's true, and that, of course, was the end of round 12. And I can, speaking for George Chuvalo, tell you he scored a 10-8 for Ali. As we look at the shot of Terrell, there's the right that he threw so desperately that missed. I agree with what Joe DiMaggio just said, George, that Ali himself looks tired now.
That's right, he does. Previously, he looked like he could take out his man anytime he wanted to. But right now, Terrell is holding on desperately, and Ali is having trouble. A lot of the punches he throws are being blocked by Terrell. Terrell has his hands up very well, but of course, like I said before, he just isn't throwing enough.
Ali should be tired. When one thinks that a week ago tonight, He was just getting back to Houston from Cleveland. Would you believe it, Joe, a week before the fight?
Didn't know that.
He went up to Cleveland for farewell to Jimmy Brown Day. Spent 2 days up there. All right, round 13. Joe DiMaggio is leaving us to go back to his seat, and I'll tell you, some men never age. Terrell is your kind of courage, George.
He's put up a very courageous stand tonight. Doesn't have any chance of winning, it seems, but they still are pitching, still looking to land the big right hand or a left hook.
For a guy who's supposed to run out of stamina, Terrell has done a remarkable job of standing up. We have only 1 minute to go in the 13th round. It begins to appear more and more likely that this bout will go 15. Ernie has been fortunate in one sense, George Chavallo. The cuts are under the eyes, not over them.
That's right. The blood isn't streaming down into his eye. If it was over his eye, he'd be in much more danger.
Fight would have been stopped a long time ago. We have but 15 seconds to go in this round. That's the end of round 13.
That's right. This was a little closer round. It was a 10-9 round for the champion. The pace slowed down somewhat. I think both the boys are a little tired. But Terrell's stamina has surprised most everyone, I think, tonight. I think the 7 or 8 pounds that he has added in the past few months has helped him considerably.
Terrell is now being examined by a commissioned doctor. He is, as you can see, or has just looked at the eyes and apparently given permission for the bout to continue.
The left eye looks almost shut, Howard. I don't think it'll take too many more jabs to close it completely.
What impels a man to go out there?
His pride and always the fact that he has the chance. He still has a chance. After all, there are 2 rounds left.
off what you've seen tonight, George, do you still want another shot at Ali?
I certainly do. Howard, I think I'm the type of fighter that can beat Muhammad Ali. In order to beat the champion, I think you have to stay on top of him and keep on a sustained attack, which Terrell hasn't been able to do. Terrell is really fighting the champion's fight, not his own fight. If he was fighting his own fight, he'd be backing off and trying to nail the champion coming in. But he's fighting the champion's fight.
No words necessary to describe that which you are saying. We have 1 minute to go in the 14th round. Only 30 seconds to go in the 14th. I suspect as soon as the round is over, the commission doctors will come up again. The end of the 14th round, and once again George Chuvalo has scored at 10 for Ali, 8 for Terrell. Some deeply sensitive soul, very nearly behind us, is exhorting the champion to do further damage to Terrell's face. He has just told the champion that Terrell's face looks like a hamburger, but it's apparently not enough to satisfy this frenzied soul.
That's right. Terrell is now having his eyes worked on. This is the last round, and he still looks fairly strong. I think he'll make out the fight. I think he'll last the limit.
I got to respect that, Terrell.
That's right. Nobody expected the fight to go this far. They took up a very gallant stand.
In summation, it may be said, George, this fight was not an exciting fight, not an epic night in boxing history, but a night when a heavyweight champion of the world, whatever one might think of him for other reasons, may have proved himself. According to Joe Lewis, he has. We are not judging the score. That will be done by the officials. But it would be terribly, terribly hard to see how, under any circumstances, they should give nothing to Terrell. see it there before your eyes. It's the story of this fight. We have 1 minute to go in the final round.
I'm not sure whether that's blood from Ali's nose or blood that's poured out here from Terrell.
I believe it's the blood from Terrell. As you can see now, it is blood from Terrell, not from Ali. We are 15 seconds away from the formal end of the bout. Is over. I'm going to be going up into the ring. Once again, the round is gone by George Chuvalo's scoring to Ali. And according to George, Ali has won 13 rounds, lost one, one was even. Let's wait for the verdict of the officials as this reporter gets up into the ring to talk with the winner.
Ernie, I wonder if you'd come over here for just a moment. Well, I've lost the earphone, and it doesn't matter. I'm going to trust we're on mic and viewing those cameras. You know you've lost this fight before the verdict.
Well, not till the verdict. He did an awful lot of power. He took my eye and rubbed it against the top rope, and I was seeing two of them. I couldn't know which one to jab at. So that's why I was wild.
It didn't seem to me, though, honestly, Ernie, that you fought the fight the way you planned to. That you were using that left the way you did in training.
The first couple of rounds was the way I planned. But then he took my eye and rubbed it against the top rope. I was seeing three of them from the third round on.
Would you want another crack at him?
Certainly.
What do you think the official verdict will be? One-sided?
I don't know.
You still hate this man?
I don't hate the man as a fighter. I still dislike what he represents and what he said. It's unnecessary. It's not in sports, and he shouldn't bring it in. I respect all fighters for ability, but not for nonsense.
Ernie, I want to say this to you. You've shown great dignity throughout the recent weeks and great courage. My congratulations to you.
Thank you.
We now await the decision.
For Ernie Terrell, 138. For Muhammad Ali, 148.
148 to 138, the first official card.
From Judge Jimmy Webb, Ernie Terrell, 133. Muhammad Ali, 148.
An overwhelming second card.
From Ernie Taylor,
for
Ernie
Ali.
Terrell, 137. Muhammad Ali, 148.
As you can see, an overwhelming, unanimous decision
I repeat, the
for
undisputed
the champion
of the world, Muhammad Ali.
Champ, you've just taken my earplug, which no longer matters. This is the camera we are looking at. First, my congratulations to you on the clear victory that you won. Second, Ernie Terrell, I must tell you this, has just told me that you fouled him, and that's what caused the damage to his eye. What's your rejoinder to that?
I was just waiting for the excuse, and that's it. And I like to say, as usual, always thank Almighty God, Allah, for making me successful as usual with Ernie Terrell, and to be able to come out of the ring with no scratches at all on my face. And I'd also like to thank the Honorable Elijah Muhammad for the religion of Islam that he teaches us in America, which has enabled me to fight so regular and live a clean life. And I also would like to say this is my manager, Herbert Muhammad, who is the son of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And just before, I'd like to announce that the next thing for my fans that we will do is take a trip to the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, to the pilgrimage of the holy city of Mecca as an invitation of King Faisal. And I would like to say Herbert Muhammad here has guided me well. And I'd like to announce that Houston, Texas is now my home. I was born in Louisville, Kentucky.
We understand all of that, Muhammad, because you...
I'd also like to say, Howard, many people want to know why I'm fighting so regular. I'm planning a fight in the next 10 weeks. And the reason that I'm fighting so regular, I would like to reveal this to the public. I'm donating as much money as I can to the cause of the so-called Negroes, 22 million here in America, bettering their education, for without education, we will never be able to integrate successfully or be equal.
All right, now.
So I'm giving as much money as I can to the colleges.
I've let you go, Muhammad, as far as I can. You understand that. Now, I want to ask you some questions on the fight. First, whom will you fight next?
Well, it's up to my manager, Herbert Muhammad. He's the boss. Herbert, who will we fight next? Let him say
Well, right now we're talking to the managers of Zoe Foley.
Where would you fight, Foley? In New York?
No, I don't know for sure as yet. Excuse my voice, I lost my voice, Howard. So, but we might fight at Madison Square Garden. They are bidding for the fight, and also in Detroit. But we haven't decided as yet. We'll decide according to his condition as of now. We'll check it out next couple of days and see how his condition is. That will depend on how soon we will
All right, I have one more quick question. Did you carry Terrell? Could you have knocked him out?
No, I don't believe I could have. I had a couple opportunities to knock him out, but he was so determined. He's a diehard. I didn't realize he could take as much punishment as he did. After the 8th round, I laid on him, but I found myself turned, and I saw that he wasn't ready to go. I knew that I had 15 rounds to go, so I had to slow up and pace myself and take him on points. And I think this proves to the public and all of the doubters out there that Ernie Terrell has no class whatsoever, and you cannot compare him even in my ranking.
I don't think you have to say that, really. The man fought a courageous fight.
You would say everything if I had lost, especially you. Now I won, and let me have my say. Terrell, I proved that he wasn't nothing.
All right.
It's a joke calling him a champion. And he better pronounce my name right from now on.
And Chevalo was a much better fighter.
Chevalo was a much better fighter. George Chevalo here was a much better fighter. George Chevalo is on my list of contenders for this year.
That's right. I just want to, but let me know more than 17 days before.
And you will fall the next time.
You will fall.
You will fall the next time.
I saw something tonight that I'm going to utilize
That's all right.
next time.
And next time,
just let me know a couple of months in advance that we're fighting, then I'll take care of business.
Buster Massive out there, Thad Spencer, and all of them. Mainly you.
Get before them, you don't have to fight them. I'll fight them.
You'll get your shot. I'm tired of talking.
All right, the champ is tired. Muhammad, come here. Let me congratulate you. Joe Louis tonight said you're a great fighter.
I don't need Joe Louis to tell me I'm a great fighter. I've been telling you for the last 6 years.
Humility is hardly the name of Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is his name by his choice. The heavyweight championship fight, a clean cut, overwhelming, 15 rounds, unanimous decision victory for Muhammad Ali, still the heavyweight champion of the world. From the Houston Astrodome, Howard Cosell reporting.
How vividly do you remember the way he taunted you in the ring?
Well, I remember that good. What he was saying, that couldn't harm me so much, but the way that he was fouling, I think, so deliberate. I mean, when you hold somebody around the head with a headlock, using your thumb to poke them in the eye, well, that's a little too bad, I think.
What were some of the things he said to you?
Well, he would say that you're an Uncle Tom, he said, and I'm representing black people and you're not. All kind of crazy things he was saying.
But you didn't let them disturb you in the ring.
Oh, well, I know. He was shouting, "What's my name?" there once in a while. He said, "What's my name?" One of his, I think it was shouted to him from one of his corner men, and they shouted to him, and he started shouting, "What's my name?" Yeah.
What is his name?
His name Cassius Clay, as far as I'm concerned.
Muhammad Ali is your name that you call yourself. Did you or did you not foul Ernie Terrell?
Well, I'd say one thing, Howard. I'm sure that not only the American public here saw the fight over closed circuit, and not only the American public, but this is one thing I'm happy about. The whole world saw this fight by the satellite all throughout Asia and Europe. And if they watch the fight, they can see. And I have never heard no reporters or no one yet condemn Terrell for constantly hitting me low in my private, constantly hitting me behind the head, which is a foul, a rabbit punch, all through the fight, and constantly hitting me deliberately on the brakes.
Thus, the stage is set for controversy here on ABC's Wide World of Sports. We shall begin with round one, and Ali, if you will, I'd like you to do the voiceover as we view the initial round of the contest.
Well, yes, Howard, I'll be glad to. Now, there I am saying my prayers to Allah, as I usually do before every fight. As I was saying earlier, I'm glad the people in the American television audience who have been distorted by the press and their view of the fight, they can actually watch this now. There I just hit him with a flurry of punches.
You started fast.
Well, yes, I always like to start off fast sometimes, especially in this case. Now I'm concentrating on just moving, filling him out, dancing from side to side, staying on my toes, and Terrell is stalking me. I understand that his intentions were to corner me. As you see, he's missing his jabs by a long range. And I understand from reading the press write-ups that blindness caused him to miss in the later rounds. And I'm sure that if he was blind, which I don't believe he was, he can't hit me now.
I'd appreciate it if you'd stop editorializing unless I ask you a question as we go. I don't want to distract the viewers from the fight, and I want to make it very clear to the viewers around this country that when you say the press is distorted, this is you speaking, your opinion, not the views necessarily of ABC or Howard Cosell.
Right, and this is not only me speaking, the movie that you're watching now is speaking also.
All right, we're ready for round two. Ali, you take over.
I'd like to say always for the press and the people who will be watching the fight, and on the behalf of ABC, that this is unrehearsed, and I'm speaking on my behalf, and I'd like to tell all of the critics there to not to criticize Howard Cosell, because he's only doing his job at interviewing me and showing the fight, and I'm talking for myself and in defense of myself.
We don't want this to be a forum for you. Let's be clear about that. Tell us about the fight.
Yes, Howard, that's now you see me putting my guard out and blocking his punches before he threw them. This is a style that Jack Johnson used. I'm filling him out mostly, staying on my toes. They told me he had a hard, fast left, and I'm watching that also. There he's fouling me now with two, and hitting on holding and hitting too. He committed about 5 legal fouls there.
Now, the gist of the controversy came up, really, as Ernie Terrell puts it, in the 3rd and 4th rounds. So we have elected to show you those rounds running fluidly, consecutively on your screen. Ali, you take over again as we begin to watch the 3rd round, and we'll talk over the break between the 3rd and the 4th and watch the 4th come up. Okay?
I'd like to say, while we're waiting for one foul, which was supposed to have been on my part, we have already witnessed about 50.
Once again, your expression, your point of view.
I haven't heard you today yet say nothing in defense of me as far as Ernie Terrell's hitting me in my private is concerned, rabbit punching me, and hitting on brakes, butting me, and hitting me behind my head. And I don't know if the press have scared you or not.
You make a fair point, and the answer to that is no. We're going to let these films speak for themselves.
Well, you usually help show the people.
Later, you're going to talk with me, and we're going to get into the area of your behavior, which I think has truly brought the press of this country down against you. And we won't get to that until round 8, when you vocally taunt Terrell. As to the fouls, let's get back to the fight and let the public say.
He just butted me again there, and he's rabbit punching me too. I've seen, imagine 50 times he has fouled. Right now he's fouling. There was a foul. He's still fouling. Now I'm supposed
That's
to
the
be...
spot at which you were supposed to have rubbed Terrell's eye against the rope.
Right.
Your version.
Well, I didn't see nothing. I didn't see me rubbing his eye against the rope, and I don't think that I'm that skillful to just take a man that quick and just rub his eye on the rope. I don't have to do that. I'm beating him too bad to rub his eye on the rope. I'm beating him so easy. Why would I want to rely on the ropes to help win the fight?
All right, that's the end of round 3. While we have this break, at that point, Terrell did not register any complaint to referee Kessler.
And he also was supposed to be blind, and he was supposed to have seen 2 or 3 figures. So we will see if he fights like he's blind from here on out.
All right, now round 4 coming up, Muhammad, is the round where the allegation is that you thumbed the eye. So let's watch for it.
I think it would be impossible to see me thumb him in the eye. And many times he's hitting with his open glove. Now he's fouling. He's holding and hitting.
Keep alert now. See, he appealed to the referee.
About what? I haven't appealed yet. He has nerve to appeal to the referee, and all the time he's been committed at least 90 fouls. Pitchers don't lie. Those are fouls right there. No one has yet said no. That was a foul. That wild uppercut hitting on the break was a foul, and nobody's talking about that.
It is extremely important to show you viewers round 8, because this is where I believe the real controversy about Ali began. You will see him flagrantly taunt his opponent, vocally, as he belabors him with punches. And I think you were wrong when you said before that all the press is writing about is the foul blows and the foul blows. I don't think they've been unfair to you there. The big question as far as the press was concerned was your pitiless taunting of this man. Now, how do you defend that?
Well, I'll defend that like this, Howie. I told the press before the fight, I faced Ernie Terrell as a man to man, and I told him that my name is Muhammad Ali in the world, and people know my name is Muhammad Ali. And this was the approach. And he deliberately insulted me publicly and said my name is Cassius Clay. When it's not so. I told Terrell, I looked the press right into their eyes, and I told them that I would do this. So I don't see why they're so shocked and so surprised.
All right, let the public judge as we look at the beginning of round 8 and as they see your behavior in the ring.
And I'd like to say another thing. How, as far as my behavior is concerned, I'm not, it takes a man to apologize when he's wrong, especially when he don't have to apologize, which I don't. But I will say that the ring was no place for me to just stop fighting and start talking, as you will see earlier. And it was my manager, Herbert Muhammad's verbal punishment after the fight, which is making me say what I'm saying now. And that's to Ernie Terrell and to all of my sports fans that if it's that bad and wrong, which I know it is in a way, I do apologize for stopping and using the ring for speaking rostering when it should have been used for boxing. So that's all I can say for that. But it's done now and it's over. Many people, however, are saying that I shouldn't have beat him like this, that I shouldn't have beat him for 15 rounds like this. And I like to say it's my job to fight. It's my job to beat him until he falls or beat him until someone stops it. If I don't, he's going to beat me. So it's the referee's job to stop the fights, and it's the judge's job, and it's the doctor's job to stop the fight if he was beat so unmercifully, as the press said. There I just hit him with a good hook, a couple of good hooks.
Screaming, what's my name?
Not then, not yet. I'm saying something, but I forgot. My blood was hot. I'm a warrior. I am a fighter. And it's kind of hard to hold me down when I get hot. But right now, I'm asking him, what's my name? And I think at one time he did say Muhammad Ali. It was in a clinch. He said Muhammad Ali. I do remember hearing him saying Muhammad Ali. There I'm saying, what's my name? which my manager, Herbert Muhammad, criticized me and verbally gave me a good lashing. So I have to apologize here on the show because I was wrong for talking. But I'm sure that he would have rather for me to talk the whole fight than to hit him. But I have to say he was a man. He did take it, Howard. And I have to say, I don't think I could take that much punishment. I've never really been hit too hard. A man didn't hit that much, and as you see, he didn't quit. He's still fighting. They can't criticize him for stopping, as they did Sonny Liston and many more fighters. There you see me asking him what's my name, which is wrong again.
We're going to pick up with the 14th and the 15th. But before we do that, I want to ask you this. You have now apologized on this show to the people, to the writers, for taunting Terrell. You think words...
For talking to him, not for whipping him.
No, but for taunting him vocally.
Yeah.
You think words of apology now can get back what you've lost in terms of image? Do you think it really makes up
Well,
for
Howard,
anything?
I'd say one thing. This is an awful weak excuse. And I think the American public out there who witnessed this fight, who's watching this show, knows that this is an awful weak excuse for the press to use and not recognizing the fight as the way it was. One fellow, he's either crippled or he's got a bullet in him. That's the excuse. The next fellow is he was old, or the next fellow he was his arm was broke or his back was broke.
That relates to you as a fighter.
That's my talking. Is what's the reason for not seeing the fight like it was. But I think the people who's watching the television now can see that the report that the press gave was awful distorted.
No. They can't see that. They can see the fight.
Mainly.
What they couldn't see was your behavior pattern. The fact is, reporters, many of them printed it.
Well, that's
cruelty in your eyes, the malice in your voice.
I'm out to be cruel. That's what the boxing game is about. He's out to beat me, or I'm out to beat him. And as far as the fight being cruel, as far as the fight being a cruel, brutal 15 rounds as they print it, I think it's the referee has the authority to stop it if it's so cruel. The judges have authority to stop it if it's so cruel. And the doctor who was in his corner at each round had the authority to stop it if it was so cruel. And if I had stopped it, it wouldn't have been legal. He would have won the fight if I had stopped. So it's my job to whip him.
You are not a stupid boy. Let's
Thank you, Howard. You're not as dumb as you look.
Let's look at rounds 14 and 15. They should be coming up in just a second. Stop smiling. You're not so funny.
If you watch him, Howard, he sees all of my punches coming, and he's also punching back at me. He's following me. And I think if a man is blind, he couldn't do this. So I think blindness is another excuse Terrell used for losing this fight. Now he's holding me. He's deliberately holding me, stalking for rest. And as you can see, both of his eyes are puffed and swelled. And I don't think that that incident near the rope did that. I think they were the punches that bruised him, which is not an honor. I'm not bragging to bruise a person, but just explaining the so-called foul. Well, the cut over his eye and his bruised face, I'm sure, didn't come from a half a second on the ropes. There he just put his palm of his left hand in my face again, which could blind me if I'm not careful.
I still don't understand why you couldn't put him away.
Well, I tried, but he just wouldn't go. It's best I can say. I just won. If I put him away in one round, it's bad. If I put him away in 3 rounds, it's bad. If I talk to him, it's bad. If I whip him clean, it's bad. And I'm just wrong if I do it and wrong if I don't.
You really persecute.
Well, not really. It's just everybody have a right to their own opinion, and I don't think that the newspapers and the editors of the whole papers know that the reporters are doing the job that they're doing, because it's really unfair to the fans to come away distorting things just outright with evil intentions.
We've just spoken about 32 mouthfuls, each of which is subject to 32 different retorts. You realize it?
I'm telling the truth, that's all. And if you tell the truth, how on this show, if you defend me like you usually do,
you will catch criticism too. And I'll say it for you.
I have never defended you. I have never gone against you.
You defended me greatly when I fought George Chuvalo. You stopped the punches. You showed the low blows. This man has hit me low. He has rabbit punched me. He has hit me on breaks. He has butted. He has put the palm of his glove in my face, and you haven't said nothing about that yet. I understand why.
I think the pictures are speaking for themselves with regard to the fouls. I don't personally think the fouls are a real issue in this fight. Your behavior pattern is portrayed by the American press a very definite issue as it relates to you, your image. I don't see that a man's privacy of worship, his right to his own religion, or a man's utilization of due process with regard to his military posture before the government. And I don't see that they're involved. And nobody has said they're involved, and the press hasn't said they're involved.
Can you box? All I will say is this. You have your say. If I'm going to be judged by the American press, which are white people, mainly white press, white people, not the Negro, then I think that if I'm going to be judged for talking to a man, then you would be awful, awful guilty if you were judged for the wrong and the things that you are doing every day and have been doing for the 400 years for the so-called Negro in America.
In the meantime, a lot of people are now going to say you can't punch. You couldn't knock them out.
That's all right. I could punch after Williams, but I can't punch now. They change every day. I don't pay no attention to them. But you have a lot of nerve to spend so much millions of dollars in press time and criticizing me for talking. I wish all other people did to people was talk to them. I think what I'm doing now is worse than talking to them. You should be criticizing me for whipping him. That's worse than talking. Why make such an itch over talking? That whipping is what you should be mad about.
We're less than 30 seconds away from the end of the fight.
He's hitting low now, Howard, but the film didn't show it exactly, but I didn't stop it. I'll criticize it. There I just hit him with a volley of punches. There he's holding me and pulling me over the rope and hitting me. He's hitting and holding, which the crowd is booing.
And so the fight ended, an overwhelming victory for Muhammad Ali. Well, the time has come for a couple of final questions to be put to the heavyweight champion of the world. Question number one, your trainer, Angelo Dundee, your former manager, the only white man in your entourage. There have been repeated press reports that you're about to dispose of Dundee. Is this true?
Well, I'd like to say one thing, Howard, to the people out here in the public. The things that I said about the press and writers, I wasn't talking about all writers, only of the main ones in Chicago and New York, who outright, deliberately went as far as I would say as lied on what happened, not only in the fight and about my manager and other things in Texas, and also Angelo Dundee. I'm not thinking about firing Angelo. He's the best man that in boxing today, and Angelo will be with me as long as I'm boxing, I'm sure. And the press as a whole is not the way that I presented them on the air, but mainly a few writers here in New York City, mainly, and Chicago.
You're really hedging.
So I don't want to make any of the writers and people feel that I'm attacking all of them. I'm not.
Why are you hedging? Because Herbert Muhammad came up to you during a commercial break and whispered in your ear?
What Herbert Muhammad said to me during that commercial break had nothing to do with what I've just said.
Your word of honor?
My word of honor.
You just have reconsidered and you find that only certain writers are.
Right. I had this in mind.
Now let me tell you something about writers. Right here in New York City, within the past 3 days, at least 2 writers have intellectualized in literature your philosophy as expressed here today. James Wexler of the New York Post in a column on Thursday. The New York Times book review section in a column on Friday.
Well,
said,
I don't know neither one of these writers.
All right, they are men outside of sports. So you see it is a free country. And you see that there are people who do agree with you, no matter how unpopular you may be.
I'm glad I just said what I said before you told me that.
And the test of a man's courage is not necessarily his willingness to support you. Do you understand that? And the test of a reporter is not necessarily his willingness to support you.
His test is to write the truth of what he's seeing here and not lie.
Or if he is talking with you, to adduce that truth from you and to let films speak from themselves. The questions of fear and courage are not involved. Do you understand that?
Well, I'm trying to. Your words are so large. See, I didn't go to college, and I don't understand the meaning of the big words you're talking.
Yes, but as I said, you are not a stupid boy. Now, one final question. What will your next fight be?
Well, it's up to my manager, Herbert Mohammed. He's the boss.
Whom would you like to fight, and where and when?
I'd like to fight whoever you think's the best, the number one man. I'd say he's Zell Foley.
I'm not sure that there's anybody left, really, for you to fight.
You.
That may come about someday. Thank you for coming by.
Just stay in shape.